This is an ideal setting for an ambush, a common hunting strategy for lions. But it tends to be a warm weather sport. In the dry season, there's little moisture in the vegetation. Grazing animals must come down often to drink. Lions know this. Three females enter the waterhole zone. Two grown adults and one young lioness, a novice. They're part of a pack that split off from the mountain pride. A hungry splinter group having a go at hunting on their own. Related lionesses form the core of any pride. They are the expert hunters. The secrets of their trade are passed down to the female cubs. This morning, the other pride members are sleeping in. Their alarm clock will be the sound of a kill. If the trio is successful. They take up their positions before any sign of prey. Lioness number 1 is equidistant to numbers 2 and 3, about 65 meters apart. None of them is stationed more than 45 meters from the waterhole. This triangle formation means only one thing: the ambush. They surround the waterhole while leaving enough room for prey to enter. Experience tells them prey will probably come from this direction, then down a hill that leads to a popular drinking spot. Now they wait. The ambush requires perfecting a vital skill: patience. Two hours go by. Nothing. After 3 hours, a sound. Thirsty zebra, from the direction the lions expected. They stop to assess the risk before going further. Zebra have learned that danger lurks in these parts, and they're prepared. They're fast, cautious, and travel in numbers. All excellent defenses against predators. But thirst makes them vulnerable. The distance closes between hunter and hunted. Lions are fast, but only in short bursts. If they don't get close enough, their prey will outrun them. Too close, and they'll give themselves away. Any of the lionesses can start the ambush. They'll wait for the defense to make their move. Once the zebra have got close enough, here in the red zone, a lioness will strike. Suppose cat number 1 leads the charge, but fails to take down the target. Cats 2 and 3 are in strategic positions to intercept the fleeing prey. Finally, thirst trumps fear. It's all going according to plan. until some spectators show up. Swainson's spurfowl will screech when they sense a threat. The zebra will then be alerted to the hunter's plot. This cat must remain calm, or the ambush goes up in smoke. Luckily, this older lioness knows what to do. Remaining still, she convinces them there's no danger, and the hunt is still on. Now success relies on the last stage, the timing of the charge. How do you know when it's right? No one can say for sure. It takes that unknown, unquantifiable factor.